Alright, welcome to a quick breakdown video of my latest piano original. It's called Tides of Time, and it's something I've been working on for a long time actually. So it fits its name based simply around like the fact that it took forever to make. And the reason it took forever was because I was working on my audiobook for a very long time, so it would always interfere with each other. But now that I finished my audiobook, I dedicated 2 days to finishing this. I basically already had the structure and idea. Like most of it was already done in my head, but I just never got it out on MIDI. So let's go ahead and check out what I have right now. This beginning is really, really soft. And we're just playing with one simple idea and two chords. So just to switch off right here, I think you can somewhat see the piano. I know this is not the most beautiful scene, but yeah, you can sort of see the piano. I'll just say what it is. So the main idea behind this piece is it's in B major, and it does this, I guess the motif follows this pattern, which, I just improvised and messed around and discovered it, and I really liked it. So it's E flat, or since we're in B major, D sharp, B, A sharp, and F sharp. And we basically do that pattern at the top. And then the two chords that we use are E, F sharp, and B. And then instead of using D sharp, we go down by one. So now it's C sharp. But it basically follows that same like pattern contour in a way. If you think about it, all it is a seventh chord, except it's in the second inversion. So I just based it around the second inversion of the seventh chord of one, the tonic basically. So actually it might be easier to show you guys right here in Logic if I just go into the piano roll. My piano's not connected right now. Let me just connect it so you can see it glow. I hope this doesn't interfere with anything. Oh, now you can see it. Sort of, it's very zoomed. Let me see if I can zoom better. I'm still not used to zooming in Logic very much, like the different types of zooms. There we go. I think yeah. So that's what the beginning is. It's just a little slow, and then we get into the real part. This is the intro I did later, and the whole theme behind this piece, like why I created it, it's part of my album called Remedy that I have been working on for the past year or two, just slowly. And Remedy, I'll eventually come up with, or I'll make a video later on about why I started this album in the first place. But basically, some stuff happened in my life that that felt really, really bad, like the worst I felt in a while. And I figured, well, while we were in that state of being, just feeling really bad, we went on some adventures, some trips. We traveled a lot, basically, to Singapore, to Bali, Taiwan, and experienced a lot of things that made me feel like I was getting better and I felt a lot better. So Remedy is just an album to basically take each of those moments and sort of create pieces about them. So one of them is Singing Rain. That one's about Singapore. And then there's one called Stars and Waves. That one's about experiences I had in Bali, and so on. They're basically pieces that highlight how I felt and my journey through like feeling better, like my remedy basically. And for this one, Tides of Time, it's just about time, how time is sort of the ultimate remedy in a way, but it's time based, or time themed in a way. So I just sort of thought about how time would sound like, and this is what I came up with basically. So that's the it took a while to come up with that. Like I was messing around with a lot of ideas, but ultimately, actually I came up with that idea pretty early. The main theme I came up with pretty early, which was yeah, that I came up with pretty early. And then I tried to figure out like where to go from there. So I thought about just messing around with the melody, and going up made the most sense to me. Like it just felt right. So for the part where I ascend, it took forever to actually come up with that part. I was like, which notes should I use? Because every time I improvised and went up, it was always a different selection of notes. So I finally selected, you know, what ended up being the final piece. But yeah, it was a lot of different things that I tried out. But yeah, basically all I'm doing is taking the same contour and then just moving it upwards. That's basically it. And then while I do that, the bass line also moves up with it. So it's as simple as that. So this part right here, I wasn't sure if I liked that much, but the more I listened to it, the more I was like, I kind of do want it to be in the piece. And the more I listened to it, the more I liked it, basically. And it's the same idea, but instead of doing D sharp the entire time, let's go to the piano roll. Also, I don't make videos like this very often, so I know this is going to be very strange to a lot of people. Okay. Let's get up there. So that's the original one. So the top part is basically the same pattern, but instead of sharp, we're using C sharp. And we basically, we have different chords as well. I always mess up there. Yeah, our playing is very not great also. So a lot of this was definitely me cleaning up in the MIDI. But same idea. So we just messed around with the same stuff. And then from there, we were very, very confused from where to go. So we just decided, let's just continue the same pattern, but with different chords. So we just decided to just go with that. And I felt like it took a while to figure that out, but those were the chords that just felt the most right as we kept playing. I don't think I'm going to go into like a super deep dive breakdown of everything, but yeah. I also have I recorded myself throughout this entire process of me making this piece. So I have like, I think 10 or so recordings of me just improvising and messing around. And eventually I landed on this. We eventually get to one of my favorite parts. Let's pause there. So we basically did the same thing over again, except this time we added an extra left hand part that's actually kind of difficult to play. So we do the original one first. So that's the original one. And then our left hand decides, or what I ended up deciding on was just playing a lot of random stuff with my left hand, and this is what I came up with. It took a while to actually like be able to play that because like doing two at once, it definitely feels confusing at times. But one of my favorite parts is like moving up with the extra left hand stuff. Man, you can't really see. I feel like I should have had a top down view instead. Here, you can somewhat see, right? Yeah, you can somewhat see it. Okay. So this part, I just like the left hand pattern of like that contour of step down, move up, and step down again. I just really like it a lot. And that's one of my favorite parts. And then from here, I basically continue the whole like left hand barrage. Yeah, honestly, I played a lot of random notes, and the MIDI, like while editing the MIDI, I was like, okay, these are my favorites. So it's just like me choosing from my improvisations, like which one I like the most. Yeah, so that's what that part is. And then we have the newer part. And this one was a struggle to come up with. I, for a long time, was just messing around with so many different ideas, and I just did not know what I wanted to do. But because the past 2 days, I was like, I need to get this done so I can move on to other things. I just decided like to do this. So this part is very, very much like the style of my album. Like everything is like similar to this, like these ideas. The melody and mainly the melody is different, but this, if you listen to any of the other pieces in my future album once it comes out, it basically, like the left hand patterns especially, are very similar. So it just fit very well. And that one, that melody was based around what I did with my left hand for the earlier part. Let's see. For that. So it's based around that. But because I'm doing it a lot faster, I added a few extra notes. And this was an idea I already had, and I was trying to just mess around with it for a while, like trying to fit it to different left hands, and I ended up going with this one. So, and I liked the motif, so I just applied it to a different part of the key. And the way I came up with the melody for this moving forward, I was just like singing it in my head and seeing what I naturally sing. So that's what I ended up playing. Oops. Let's try to get back to where we were. I'm still not used to using Logic after all this time. And then we bring back the first motif, which is super simple. Even though it is simple, I really like it. It's the shape that really makes it interesting, and then combining it with the other sort of motif that I came up with, like something about it is very satisfying for me. And this part right here is basically the same theme, but with a different left hand, which is more similar to what we basically did with the second section. And we just move down. That's basically it. And then we go back to basically the beginning, or the first section, which is nice because I feel like if I kept going with the left hand patterns, it's a little much. It's just a lot of stuff going on at the same time. So having this little break here felt really nice. And honestly, I just wanted to repeat the beginning because I really like the beginning. And this part right here is more of an experiment. I didn't really play it at first. What I decided on was like, one of the things I wanted to do at some point was go from 4 notes to 3. So instead of doing this as the main pattern, I was going to change it to, so it's a lot faster, which is supposed to represent like time moving faster as we keep going. But instead of doing that, because I felt like something about it wasn't yeah, a part of me just felt like it wasn't different enough in a way, but also I when I stumbled across this, I just felt like it was more interesting in some ways. Like we keep the same sort of beat, but we just play it like slightly different. Like it just felt interesting, like more interesting. And throughout the whole piece, we hardly used the lower notes. So introducing it now was good once there was a pattern break. Like it feels good. And then going back to the normal pattern, I really like that transition because for a while you're just like, it's a little disjointed. And all of a sudden, we go back to having all four notes. So this is basically the same thing as before, but with extra bass notes. And, obviously an octave down, but it is the same thing. So you kind of get to hear different things because like before it was so high up and now you can sort of hear it from like a different perspective, which I really, really liked. Admittedly, it is a little messier because it is a register, like an octave down, but I'm okay with it. I still enjoy it. And this part is basically a repeat of part two, or section two. And this is the last part, which is also a repeat of one of the previous sections. It's just a variation of it with the same motif from the beginning. And I wanted to just close off with the second motif. I definitely talked over, that explanation or talked over my own piece, but I wanted to give my thoughts on like why I made the decisions I made and yeah, the journey of creating it. So yeah, honestly I was working with this idea for like I think 5 months ago. Like basically when I came back from Japan, I wanted to create this piece, finish it, and then I came up with the ideas and over time it just became what it was in terms of the motifs. And the past 2 days was when I finally decided this is the left hand part that goes with it, and I cleaned it up, edited it in Logic, and now it's out. And I feel good. I feel overall like happy with it. There's a lot more I feel like I could have explored with the themes, but for now, I think this version of it will be what's out, and then in the future, if we decide that we want to make something more of it, we can. But I really like this piece. I feel like it's one of my favorites that I've created within this album. It definitely is the one I spent the most time on in terms of thinking, but a lot of my other pieces I still like as well. Like I still like, I still think Stars and Waves is one of my favorites. And even apart from the Remedy album, like one of the pieces that I create that was very, very simple for my friend, childhood friends. That one I really enjoy. There's a lot of my piano originals that I really enjoy. And I was saying one thing that I was saying while I finished the audiobook was I said the line, every past project that I've created, I haven't felt as much as I've felt now. Which is true because I worked so hard on the audiobook. There was just 500 to 600 hours poured into it. But I will say a lot of my piano originals, I really love them. Like I feel like having created these originals, I feel very happy about them. I do get emotional about certain ones because I think 80% of the originals I've made are made for someone else. So it's like when I think about that person, I created the piece based around my thoughts on that person and then gifted it to them as like a gift. So whenever I write a piece, I always think about that person. And there's definitely a lot of emotion tied to that. And I just wanted to mention that this is another thing that another part of my creative process that I've really enjoyed and really felt a lot about. Like it isn't just my audiobook. So yeah, I just wanted to share this breakdown because I do feel like I hardly actually go through the creation process of my original piano pieces. And there's a lot of thought that goes into it basically. But I guess if you're not like super into piano or if you don't know much about theory, then it is harder to explain. But I'm also not explaining it very well, to be honest. But yeah, maybe I'll do some future breakdowns of pieces I've done back then because yeah, there are a lot of them that I really liked that I wanna talk about or at least have like a video where I talked about it at some point. But that's it for this one. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And if you want to listen to the piece without me talking over it, it'll be down below. There will be a Spotify link, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. And let me know what you think too. I'm curious to other people's opinions about this piece. Okay, bye.